Hey, everybody, how you doing? Yep. Welcome to PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it's Steve Jaco. Charlie O'Connor will be along on the Xfinity mobile call-in line at some point soon. Wow. The Flyers just shouldn't ever score first, Steve. Like, it really is that simple.
Why is this the world we live in? Why can't we have nice things like scoring first and winning the game? It doesn't make sense, Bill.
It's really really disappointing what we saw tonight, especially considering the Flyers played an awesome first 25 minutes. They got an early flurry of chances in the second period after a very strong first, and then after the first 5 minutes of the second, it was all Carolina. That second period was a masterclass in what Carolina does best: forecheck, multiple opportunities, all sorts of shots from all over the place. And the Flyers just really had no answer to break out of their defensive zone. Turnover after turnover, second and third opportunity chances for Carolina. And it leads to, eventually, their ninth straight win in Philadelphia, March 5th, 2020, the last time the Flyers won at home against the Canes. What a freaking disappointing outcome for a multitude of reasons. That first period, Trevor Zegras was everywhere, goal and an assist. Bobby Brink gets on the board. Yeah, they start out the second hot. Sam Ersson, even after allowing some goals and amazing overtime, they get it to the shootout, and you think, all right, well, this is where they have the advantage. And Zegras doesn't convert, michkov doesn't convert, and you're just kind of waiting. Ersson did all he could, but that's really what it came down to. We do have to credit Carolina, like, disappointing after the first 25 for sure. Nice goal by Carl Grundström. We'll talk about him to tie it up later in the third. But these are two of the five best shot suppression teams, two of the top 10 in goals allowed. I think they're 9 and 10. These are good defensive teams, so it wasn't a surprise to see like a tight third period. But with 13 minutes left in the third, the last time I took the total, Flyers were leading in shots on goal, 17-15. Shot attempts for 51-27, according to JJ. It was really something there. But we do that's what Carolina does, right? And the Flyers just didn't have any answers. TK, I think after second intermission, did the interview and just said, yeah, they found their legs. I think we sat back a little, and that was it, basically.
I don't think TK looked up from his stick during that interview. He just was the whole time like you could just see the gears grinding in him. Like, it just sucks. It just sucks because this is the kind of team that the Carolina Hurricanes are. This is how they beat you. And they're a team that can sit back and get beat for a little bit and then say, okay, like very like saying like they figured it out. And then they came back and they just did their thing. One of the guys on the Canes that I always forget about, I never think about this guy as like a really great NHL player. And then whenever we play him, I'm just like, oh, that guy's so friggin' good. Seth Jarvis. Just never think about him. When you think about great NHL players, you never think about Seth Jarvis. He is just having a great year for Carolina.
He's up to 18 goals now, I think.
Yeah. And like, we've seen him in 2 games now this year, and he has just been like unreal with some of his moves.
It's truly like, we think of Carolina, I think like Brind'Amour gets so much credit, the system and that. I feel like you don't really think of the individuals with them, and then you look at some of the numbers and go, oh, yeah, they got some guys having like better stats than you would expect, considering like you don't think of them as individuals all that often. So we do have to credit them, but I think I always try to like, okay, what is the point of this season, you know? And for a couple of years, we were all just kind of hoping they would lose. There was, all right, this is about finding about who can't be here, you know? So we're going to move on from Provorov, and, you know, we're eventually going to move on from Farabee and Frost. Last year, very much about like, all right, let's see what the kid has. And michkov impresses us in his rookie season. According to the Flyers, this year is about getting better and the players developing individually, but as a team, right? Like, all right, maybe we're going to make the playoffs. We're hoping to be in it, but it's going through the steps of eventually, hopefully, becoming a very good team like Carolina currently is. The thing that they need to learn, that they have struggled with so much this year, playing with the lead. This is only the 8th time all year they led after the first period. You look up the stats and go, oh, they're 6-0-1 though when they lead after the first. I looked this up. I went into each game's box score, Steve, where it didn't take long because, again, this was the 8th time. All right. Last time they played Carolina, second game of the season, 1-0 after one, fall behind 3-2, then lose in overtime. The home opener against the Panthers, really good win for them. They lead 1-0 after the first. Panthers tie it, and then the Flyers go on to score. They actually led against Seattle and did it, so that's one. Montreal, they're up 3-0 after the first, then somehow fall behind 4-3, and they need a shootout to win that game. One of the Devils games, they led 4-1 after one. Oh, no, that's one of the ones they didn't give up. They lead 4-1 after one. They win 6-3.
But that one, they got close in that
game.
Yeah,
there was a point where it could have gotten a little hairy and the Flyers get one and it kind of opens everything up a little bit.
I think we covered that game, and I just remember sitting here on the PHLY couch going oh, not again, because this is what they do. They just can't hold a lead, and it doesn't make any sense. And I don't know if it's a matter of, do they just, I guess, get too confident? Do they get too at ease with the lead? Do they stop pressing? Because it certainly seems like it might be a little bit of that, where they're just not quite attacking like they do. Some of it's inexperience, I'm sure, where, you have a young roster, but whatever it is, this is a problem they got to fix, because if you were going to be a successful playoff team in the NHL, you got to be able to hold a dang lead.
It is now 8 times overall. There's a couple more, but we don't need to go into each one.
No.
8 times they've scored the first goal. 5 of them, they have either had to then unbreak a tie or actually come back, even though they led after the first period. Playing with the lead is very much the issue for this team right now. And listen, these are the growing pains of a young team, and they are doing the rebuild, or whatever you want to call it, because I know that word triggers people sometimes. Whatever they're doing it this way because they think these are the growing pains of a young team, whether you're drafting first, 4 years in a row, or you do it this way. Every team goes through this. This is the point of this season, and it's painful to watch in the moment, but I guess we have to sometimes step back and go, all right, learning process, that's what we're doing here. But damn, man, hold a 2-goal lead.
Hold a 2-goal lead, and hold a 2-goal lead against the best team in your division. If not, it's one of the 2 best teams, because it's them in New Jersey. And it's pretty much been a 2-horse race since the beginning of the season. We all knew this is how it was going to play out. But this is a team you have to beat, especially if you're trying to get to that next level. If you're trying to become a truly good hockey team that's progressing, you got to take advantage of these. And also, it's inexcusable to not be able to beat this team as good as they are. You can't beat them at home for 5 years?
Once at home? Not one? Not once. That's disappointing, as is now. It's 2 games in a row, Vegas and Carolina. You match up pretty well. That second period was a disaster, but overall, you held your own against teams that at least believe they are Stanley Cup contenders or have Stanley Cup aspirations, have better rosters than you, at least right now. But you come away with nothing. You come away with a couple
of loser point.
You get the loser point, and that's great. At least you to say they came away with nothing, I guess, is wrong. They do get the loser point in each game. But it's just damn, man, you went toe-to-toe with these teams. There was a real great chance. If they score that 3rd goal early in the second period, it's a totally different game. They had a bunch of chances. TK and Zegras had a few. I think the next shift, Kate's got a chance. First 5 minutes of that second, I think not being able to add to that lead is ultimately what allowed Carolina to change the momentum.
Here's some simple math for you, Bill. If you look at the standings right now, okay, the Carolina Hurricanes, and again, I don't know if this is updated for the current game or not, but the Hurricanes 42 points, Flyers 37 points, all right? 42 versus 37, there's a nice 2-point difference, in there somewhere. You got to win games like this if you want to get further up in the standings. And given how tight the Eastern Conference is with the wild card and everything, you got to win games like this, because look at the Flyers at 37 points. You had Pittsburgh 36, Montreal, the New York Rangers. All those teams are 36 points. All of them won a wild card spot.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. On the other side, we're going to tell you about tonight's unsung hero because there are positives I want to talk about. We're going to try to alternate. That's what I try to do when I'm disappointed, is come back to something positive. So on the other side, we're going to do tonight's unsung hero. But prior to that, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Now more than ever, you have to have Xfinity if you call yourself a big sports fan, because with Xfinity, there's no switching between 20 different apps to find all the best games and all your favorite teams, and there's never any lagging or buffering either. The way you watch with Xfinity, it is next level. You have the enhanced 4K, so you get the best picture and sound in the business, so clear it feels like you're at the arena, and you can watch up to 4 games at once with the multi-view. That's a game changer right there. Who doesn't want that fan flex? Plus, you can get real-time stats and notifications right on your TV, so you can keep up on all your parlays and fantasy teams while you're watching the action all on one screen, thanks to Xfinity. So next game day, make sure you're a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I tell you all the time about the 90 million users worldwide, the fact that they're one of the pioneers of live in-game betting with over 78 different sports that you can bet on while the action is live. And now I got to tell you about the early payout offer. That's right. If you bet a team on the money line or make them part of your parlay and they go up 3 goals in an NHL game, you get an instant payout. No need to sweat the rest of the game. Go up 3, you're a winner. It's that simple. And we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do, sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, it is time for the Unsung Hero presented by Togo. Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. Togo. And I think this is almost a regular thing with Ersson. He is tonight's Unsung Hero because, stop me if you've heard this before, Steve, played better than his number. It's like
He said the thing.
It's almost like getting embarrassing to say, because you see the stat line, 18 of 21 for an 857, but you see the way he played in overtime, stops 2 very high danger chances. The first period, like, they don't give up more than 8 shots in any period, but a lot of dangerous stuff, timely saves, clutch saves, I thought. Like this Jarvis breakaway, that's a save he makes all the time in shootouts, and like almost stopped that one. It was, I thought, a pretty decent game despite the numbers for Ersson.
And that's
of all the reasons they lost, he ain't one of them. The 1 goal deflection off Noah Cates' skate, like it's just a shot kind of into traffic and bang, bang, like pinballs right in, like nothing he can do about that. I was pretty impressed with Ersson tonight, despite allowing 3 on, 21 shots.
I mean, you're talking about a great team. That Jarvis breakaway that you talked about, that was an unbelievable move. I mean, the deke he made to the inside that got Ersson over slightly was just next level. And we don't talk about the shootout as, a thing generally.
Stopped 3 or 4.
He stopped 3 or 4. And I mean, again, it was a damn good move that got in on him. But overall, like, he had a solid night. Just, again, the numbers don't tell the tale.
No, they don't. We will continue talking about Ersson and all sorts of things with Charlie O'Connor, Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line from the Xfinity Mobile Arena, where, Charlie, the last time the Flyers beat Carolina in the building you're standing in, I think it was called the Coors State Center. It was March 5th, 2020, a week before the league shut down for a little thing called COVID. That's how long it's been.
Wow.
I know Brind'Amour's team is good, but they can't beat them once at home in 5 years.
Well, apparently not. I'll say this: if they play for 60 minutes the way they played in the first period, they'll beat this team, because that was a style that allows you to beat Carolina. Look, the big thing with Carolina, and everybody knows this, it's no secret. Everybody knows how they play. They forecheck you to death. They pressure you and forecheck you to death. That's what they do. And what the Flyers did in the first period was they did a fantastic, fantastic job of basically just getting the puck out of the defensive zone quickly and efficiently. Like that's what it boils down to. That's what they were able to do. They were winning battles. They weren't turning pucks over. They had a couple, but for the most part, like I tracked the dump-ins during the game. Carolina had 20 dump-ins in the first period. They recovered 5 of them. 25% recovery rate. That is elite. Like I think the Flyers on average this season are allowing teams to recover about 40% of their dump-ins. And then you hold a team like Carolina that lives and dies on its forecheck to 25%. That's stellar. And that's the kind of way that you can beat this team. The problem was that in the second period, they have a good first maybe like 3, 4, 5 minutes of the period.
Yeah.
And then, the shifts leading up to that Murchison mistake that leads to Carolina's first goal, Carolina's back doing Carolina things. They're forechecking, Flyers are turning pucks over, they're not winning battles. I asked Rick Tocchet after the game about it, and he basically said he thinks it all boils down to like what changed from the first period to the second period. It all boils down to their wall play. He just thought that they weren't good on the wall. He pointed something out, and it's something I didn't know, but it makes sense based on the way Carolina plays, given the way they pressure and how aggressive they are. That, yeah, Carolina doesn't give up a lot, but they're up near the top of the league in terms of allowing odd man rushes. And the way you get odd man rushes against Carolina is you win those board battles. You win those board battles, and with their aggressive forecheck, you're going to get 3-on-2s because they have their forwards are just attacking. They're trying to get the puck. And if you can win those board battles, there are odd man rushes to be gotten. Well, the Flyers in the second period and even most of the third didn't get those odd man rushes, but you saw it. I mean, how did the Flyers tie this game? They tie the game on a 2-on-1 because Rodrigo Abels does a quick up to get the puck out of the zone. They get the puck out from behind the net. Like that's what they were doing in the first period. It works in the third to tie the game and get them a point. But in the second period and even well into the third, they just weren't doing it. And the frustrating part about it, and look, like they get a point in this game. It's not the end of the world. They get something out of it. But the frustrating part about it is that you see in the first period that they can do it, that they are capable of playing in a way that allows them to break Carolina down. And then for the final, 40 minutes or so, with a couple exceptions, they just stop doing it. So you know what you're supposed to do. You showed you can do it. Now you just got to do it for an entire game. And the fact they didn't do it for an entire game, that's why they don't win this game.
So, Charlie, this was the 8th time this season the Flyers have led after the first period. I just broke these numbers down for the audience, but I'll give you the rundown here. 8 times they've led after the first. They are 6-1-1 now. That's pretty good, right? However, in 5 of these 8 games, the other team has come back to tie the game or take the lead. Do you think tonight's a special case of, well, Carolina's like, a Stanley Cup contending team, tip your cap, they're that good? Or is this an ongoing issue that just showed itself again for the Flyers tonight?
I don't... It's tough because, like, is it an issue? Like, well, yeah, it's an issue because they're doing it, but I don't think it's a like, oh, well, they lose, they take a lead and then they let their foot off the gas, because the same thing happens on the flip side. They give up a ton of first goals and then they come back and win a lot of those games. I mean, really what this isn't an issue in the sense that like, oh, they just, they blow it after they give up, after they score the first goal. The issue here is just inconsistency. And it's the same reason why they give up a lot of the first goals and then come back and take the lead in a lot of those games. They're an inconsistent team. And I'm not even talking about inconsistent from game to game. I'm talking about inconsistent in games. They'll look real good as they did tonight. They'll look real good for a period and then look not so good the next period. Like, that's the big thing. And you've talked about it from the start of the season, Bill, that they're a young team. And young teams are inconsistent. And I think that's really what it boils down to. Sometimes the inconsistency is a good thing in the sense that when they fall behind, they're not out of it because they can turn it on at any time and come back and take a lead. But the inconsistency rears its head in a bad way when you take leads and they're never safe because there's never a time in a game where they're not capable of, for 10 minutes, just playing poorly.
Yeah, there was at least a 10 or 12 minute stretch there in the second where they just didn't have the puck. They didn't get a shot, and that's not even like enough of a statistic to show you how little they had the puck. Like, I don't know if they had it on their stick on the offensive side of the red line in those 10 or 12 minutes, but sometimes you also just got to go, yeah, that's the difference between a good and a mediocre team. Speaking of inconsistent, we've been a little harsh on Sam Ersson, and by we, I'm using the royal we, Flyers fans. But would you say, once again, Charlie, Sam Ersson was better than his numbers?
Yeah, I would indeed say that. Again, I know there are people who just don't want to hear it. You're just like, you know what, dude, make a save. But yeah, you watch this game. It did not feel like a game where Sam Ersson finished with a 857 save percentage, even though he did, because he made a lot of big saves. Even in the shootout, he stops 3 or 4. I mean, that's about all you can reasonably expect from a goalie. It's a really good shootout percentage. If you're stopping 3 out of 4, 75%, that's darn good. So he has those big saves at the end of overtime. I think one was on Ghost, one was on Stall, if I remember correctly. So big stops at the end of OT. One of the 3 goals he gives up goes off of Noah Cates' skate. Like, can't really blame that one on him. There was a perfect redirection by Noah Cates against his own goalie. Like, what are you gonna do? I get that people don't have patience for this. I get it. But you watch the games that he plays, and most of the time, yeah, even if the numbers are bad, he doesn't seem like he played a bad game. He thought he played a pretty good game tonight.
No, I thought so as well.
Yeah, he had big saves, and I mean, what more can you ask for from him? Now, one guy who I thought had a really nice game, has had a nice stretch since he came up, is Carl Grundström. Gets
Grundaddy.
Grundaddy.
That's what I'm calling him.
I love it. I'm into it. But yeah, Carl Grundström puts up a goal tonight, and he's looked really solid. I feel like he's kind of rejuvenated the fourth line that we complain so much about. Thoughts on Grundström?
Yeah, he was great. And it wasn't just that goal, although obviously the goal is huge. I thought he just looked good. And the fourth line needed something. It needed something to shake it up. We asked Rick Tocchet after the game about him, and he basically just said, yeah, he can skate. Like, that's the big thing. He's brought wheels. Because, like Obels is slow. We know that. Delorier is Delorier. Hathaway is not, I wouldn't say he's slow, but he's not quick. Grundström is legitimately a powerful skater. He's got power in those strides, and you're just seeing the difference. Like, look, I'm not saying the fourth line's great. I'm not saying it's a line that I want, getting, 17, 18 minutes a night. We're not talking about the that identity line that the Islanders had for years with Cizikas and Clutterbuck. It's not that, but it's playable now. It's a playable fourth line that once in a while can get you a big goal. And Grundström came through big. And, I just kind of ripped on Obels a little bit. He makes a really good play on that goal, too. That's a really good pass to send Hathaway and Grundström up ice. And look, I want to see Garnet Hathaway score a goal. I want to see him get a point. I want to see Hathaway break this awful run he's on offensively to start the year. But I'm very, very happy that Grundström took that shot. Because with the way Hathaway is playing, he just doesn't seem to have much confidence. Like, Grundström had to take that shot because I really don't think Hathaway was finishing that, even if he's staring at a wide open net, and obviously Grundström finishes it.
If Grundström had passed and Hathaway had scored, I still would have had a problem with him passing there, Charlie. Like,
well, even think about Konechny, right? When Konechny wasn't in overtime, when he gets that chance with Zegras, where he kind of whiffs on the puck, and then he gets the pass over, but a little later than Zegras wants, and it goes to the side of the net. I just wanted Konechny to shoot the dang puck there.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie, Ty Murchison, I thought had like a really good first period, and then he makes the big mistake in the second, but it was kind of just like, I don't know, everyone on the team did that for 10 minutes, and his is the one that got taken advantage of, so he'll get blamed. Overall, have liked Murchison. What'd you think of his game tonight after the first period?
Yeah, I mean, he made some plays, some good defensive plays. I thought in the third period he made some decent plays I saw. But yeah, that pass, like, that's just a rookie mistake. That's a pass that in the AHL you can get away with, because there was a guy open. Like, there was a player that he could have hit for a stretch pass. The problem is that in the NHL, you're not going to get that pass through 3 guys. And he was trying to get it through 3 guys. Like, that is one of those plays that you just have to learn. You have to learn that in the AHL, in juniors, that pass is getting through, 95 times out of 100. In the NHL, that pass is getting through 5 times out of 100, because the NHL is just filled with better, more instinctual, bigger, faster players that are not going to let that pass get through. They're just going to see it. And the only way you're going to learn that is by doing it and by making that mistake. I think Murchison's been good. I think he's had a good audition, a much better audition than I thought he was going to have when he got that call up initially. And he's put himself on the radar, but it does seem like both Cam York and Rasmus Ristolainen are close to returning. Cam York might be back as soon as tomorrow in Carolina if both these teams actually make it to Carolina. I heard that at least as recently as 45 minutes ago, Carolina's plane that's flying them back to Carolina had yet to land. So hopefully these two teams actually make it to Carolina. So we got a snowstorm out there right now. But York could be in as soon as tomorrow, and if York is in, my guess is Murchison goes out. But hey, aside from that play, I tweeted out that was the first time he's looked like a rookie. That's about as good of a compliment as I can give him, especially a guy who was taken in the 5th round. And quite frankly, this time last year, if you would have asked me about Ty Murchison, I would have guessed he wouldn't even have gotten a contract from the Flyers. Now he's looking like a passable NHL defenseman. So you know what? Good for him.
Charlie, Trevor Zegras continues to produce. He gets himself back to a point-a-game pace with his 2-point first period tonight, but it just feels like not a single other guy on this team can create offense consistently. Is it they just don't have enough pieces? They need to switch up the lines a little bit? Like, how can we get someone else going other than put them with Trevor Zegras right now?
Well, these guys have talent. Like, it's not as if, and I know I'm opening up a can of worms with Matvei Michkov, but it's not like Matvei Michkov like did a Space Jam. Like, he's still a really talented player. He didn't get his talent sucked out of him into a magical hockey puck. Like, there's something there, and
we don't
he's
know
going to
that.
get it back. He's going to get it back presumably at some point. He made some plays tonight. Like, guys are making plays. Like, I don't know if Sean Couturier remembers that he should shoot on breakaways. That would be cool. But like, it's not as if the guys on the other lines don't have talent. Bobby Brink made a really nice play tonight. Like that cut to the middle, but that was off a pass from Trevor Zegras. So I guess it goes with what you're saying. Like, do guys only remember that they're good at offensive hockey when they're playing with Trevor Zegras? I have to believe these guys have it in them to play better. I've seen them all play better. All I can really say is thank God they have Trevor Zegras, because if they didn't, I mean, man, they'd be struggling to score even more than they already are.
Yeah, absolutely, Chuck. Matvei Michkov, they did point out on the broadcast at one point, it didn't lead directly to a goal, but I do think eventually Carolina scored. There was a breakout, he's gone, and then turnover at the line, stays in, they get a chance. Is this like an ongoing conversation? Does it come up all the time? Like, I feel like I haven't seen him do this as much recently, but honestly, other than his shootout attempt, it was one of the few times I even noticed Mish tonight. Has that come up recently at all? His, maybe desire to fly the zone a little bit?
He's doing it a lot less, because it's easy to watch that when you're in the arena.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his flying of the zone, you can't really see on TV unless you see like a reverse angle or something where the broadcast specifically points it out. But a lot of that happens off camera. In the beginning of the year, he was doing it like almost on every shift. Now you notice it, but you notice it because it's an aberration. It's like, oh, there he goes. He did it that time, but it's not every shift. He's definitely cut down on it. Yeah, it's obviously something that they want to see him do less of, to be sure. But by the same token, you don't want him not to do it at all. Like, the big thing that Taka pointed out at the start of the year was he can't fly the zone when we don't have the puck. Now, when we have the puck, or if like we're right about to get to a loose puck without pressure, then yeah, it's fine. You can't fly the zone when we literally don't have possession. And I think he's doing that significantly less. The fact of the matter is, though, is that he did it all the time in Russia. He did it all the time in Russia. He's used to it. And it's something that, like, he will have to learn over time. Like, the muscle memory has to be created where it just isn't his default. And then, obviously, when you're struggling to score, you're going to cheat for offense. Like, everybody does it. Everyone does it. Everyone flies the zone a little bit early when you're frustrated with your lack of production, especially somebody like Michkov, who very much views, rightfully so, his primary way that he can help the team win is to score points. He wants to score points. He hasn't. I don't think he's scored what he had that good run. Now he's on a little bit of a run where I think it's like his last 3 or 4 games he doesn't have a point.
Yeah.
So I get he's probably a little bit frustrated. Maybe that leads him to do it a little bit more. I don't think it's a major issue. But yeah, they don't want him to do it as much, especially when they don't have the puck, and he still does it sometimes. So they're going to keep pointing it out.
Charlie, one more before stars. I just want to know, when Trevor Zegras doesn't score in the shootout, I yelled no, and I was honestly shocked. Was there like an audible gasp from the audience, or like was the crowd as baffled as I was? Because it just feels automatic at this point. I know the penalty shots haven't gone as well, but you just see him take off on the shootout, and you think, all right, well, we're gonna have one. And when he doesn't convert, like, did the energy leave the building entirely?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Sam Ersson straight up said that. Like, I interviewed him when I was doing my feature on him and Vladar, and basically I asked him, like, why do you think you're so good at shootouts? And he say, well, it helps when you're always starting 1-0 because Zegras is always going to score. Like that gives you confidence as a goalie. You know, you're starting ahead functionally. So it was a surprise, sure, but he wasn't going to score on every single shootout for the rest of his career. Like
I guess.
he does have the best shootout percentage in NHL history, but even that shootout percentage is like in the 60s. Like that implies that there are times that he doesn't score. So it was going to happen eventually. It's just a bummer because, you know, you really thought like, okay, they got Carolina to the shootout. They've got Zegras. They've got Ersson in goal. They're better of the two shootout goalies. Like, they're going to win this game. They could steal the first one. Then tomorrow's game, you know, in Carolina, it's kind of gravy. Now, you know, you lose tomorrow's game of regulation. You got 1 point out of possible 4. That's a disappointment. You get 2 out of 4. That's fine. You split it with them. Yeah, Carolina got 3 out of 4, but you know you're not going to win this division. Like, you're competing for a playoff spot. You're not competing for the Metropolitan Division title. You're not really worried about giving Carolina the extra point. You just want to get the second point. Looked like they had a real chance to do it. Zegras doesn't score. We got to cut him some slack because he scored on all the other ones so far this year, and he's been like their one consistently reliable offensive weapon. But yeah, it was a bummer. I expected him to score too.
I think we should run him out of town.
Probably. Yeah. No, we only do that to Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie. It is time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game. For 25 minutes, this team was really good. So I'm assuming all of your stars are going to come from those first 25 minutes. But who is tonight's 3rd star?
Yeah, 3rd star, I'm going to give it to Bobby Brink. I thought he made a great play on that goal. Love to see. I was actually considering. I was workshopping this that I was going to kick off the thing, the set, the whatever you want to call it, my segment, I guess, saying that like, yeah, there was a smallish winger who didn't get enough ice time tonight, got under 14 minutes. Bobby Brink, because I thought Bobby Brink legitimately did deserve some more ice time. But maybe it was a case of, you know, Tocchet said that basically when he said that they didn't play well enough along the wall, like Bobby Brink as a 5'8" guy is probably not going to be that great along the wall. So maybe he just felt like this wasn't a Bobby Brink type game. But he made a really good play on that goal. Great confident cut to the middle of the ice and then a heck of a snipe. And for that reason and that reason only, Bobby Brink gets 3rd star.
All right. Who is tonight's 2nd star?
2nd star, I'm going to give it to Trevor Zegras. Basically because, and he was obviously getting 1 of the 3 stars. It's just that he doesn't score in the shootout. He has that opportunity at the end of overtime. Now, granted, Konechny could have given him a quicker pass. It threw him off, but still could have scored there. You know, there's still an open net. There's net to shoot at. So he misses on 2 major opportunities late in the game to give the Flyers a win. That bumps him down from number 1 star to number 2 star. But Zegras, you know, another extremely impactful game. As you said, he's the one offensive weapon on this team they can count on. He's having a great season. Trevor Zegras, easy pick for a star, and I'm giving him 2nd star.
All right. And finally, the 1st star of tonight's game.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Carl Grundström, our boy Carl, because I thought for sure that game was over when Carolina breaks through to make it 3-2. I was convinced, you know, it just seemed like Carolina had been building to that. Like, okay, now they're going to run away with this thing. This game's going to end 4-2 with an empty net goal. Flyers aren't going to see the puck the rest of this game. Instead, Carl Grundström finishes on the very next shift. It was just such a great response. And Grundström's been good. I think he's been good from basically from the jump since earning his way into the lineup. I have a lot of respect for a guy who, you know, as we've talked about, he got tagged by some fans with the idea of him being an AHL vet. And I made the point that, you know, he really wasn't an AHL vet. He spent most of his time prior to the season in the NHL. He was a veteran playing in the AHL. He wasn't an AHL vet the way like Anthony Richard is an AHL vet. He's getting his opportunity now. He worked for it. He earned it, played well in the AHL. And now he's putting himself in a position where they're never going to send him back down. He's going to spend the rest of the year with this team probably because, hey, he's the one thing they got going for them on that 4th line. I've been really impressed with Carl Grundström, and he had the big goal of the game, the goal that gets the Flyers a point in a game against a really, really tough opponent. So Carl Grundström, 1st star.
All right, Charlie, we will see you right here in studio tomorrow, pending whether or not the teams can actually get to the venue for the game, I guess. But we'll there's plenty of time between now and then. I assume the game will happen. But until then, these have been Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars, and that was Philly's #1 beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. We will talk tomorrow, my friend.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity mobile call-in line, and now it's time to take one more break. If you're a last minute shopper like me, you know the feeling. You know, the shelves are empty, ideas are running out. Well, that's why I got to tell you about Aura Frames. I'm always trying to find that perfect gift for my parents. I'm trying to find something good and personal. I just end up getting them a few gift cards to their favorite restaurants. Well, that's no longer the case because I have found Aura Frames. Aura Frames are the gift anyone can use, even your technologically impaired parents. You can upload unlimited photos and videos just by downloading the Aura app and connecting to Wi-Fi. And you can even pre-upload the photos before it ships so it's ready to go as soon as they unwrap it. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. And for a limited time, you can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com and get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames. Named #1 by Wirecutter. All you got to do is use promo code PHLY at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code PHLY. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now and get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Cup is coming to North America for the first time since 1994, and we're going to host games right here in Philly. And if you want to get in, you got to use Game Time. Game Time is the absolute best secondary ticket marketplace. You know it's my favorite for so many reasons. The best of which is they take all the guesswork out of buying tickets. There's never any surprises with Game Time because the fees are included. You know what you're spending up front before you get to checkout, and you get a panoramic view of your seats before you check out. So there's no surprises when you get to the venue either. And of course, there is the low price guarantee. So if you find tickets in the same section and row for less elsewhere, Game Time refunds you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying soccer tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. All right, it is now time for tonight's Game Changer presented by Elkin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Tonight's Game Changer is also Charlie's first star. It's going to be Carl Grundström.
Hey.
Because, again, like Charlie said, I thought that game was over. He legitimately changed. He got the Flyers a point by getting up on that 2-on-1 and ripping the shot, tying the game, sending it to OT.
Somebody took a shot.
Honestly, he's been a game changer for this fourth line. I won't say, oh, yeah, man, I'm confident they can play 15 minutes now, but it's better than what they were getting out of them, which was zero. In fact,
nothing.
Very much minus. You know, like I was for a while crediting Nick Delorier for only being -2, which impressed me simply because the line had not scored a goal. They had 0 goals through 28 games. Like, I just kind of was, well, he must not be screwing up that bad because we know there are no pluses in there to weigh it out, and he's only -2. But Grundström has been as good as you can ask for from especially like a recalled guy that we're like, all right, we got this for. He came over in that Ryan Ellis contract move, like, and it's worked out for the Flyers since they've brought him up. Points in 3 straight, game tire tonight, couple of goals. I've been impressed with Grundström.
I assume they just traded for a sentient bag of pucks when they got him.
I just figured it was like, oh, this is a contract we can bury.
Yeah, I didn't think it was, or like just a useful AHL player. And he's been really good. Like, he's popped out there. Again, he gets the goal tonight. He ends up with 14:36 time on ice. He gets, what was that? Two shots and 2 hits and a block, or no, 1 hit and 2 blocks. I don't know anymore. 2 hits, 1 block. There we go. We got the stats all straightened out. But yeah, Carl Grundström's making a difference out there. He's a noticeable player. And like I mentioned the hits, and at one point tonight, JJ and Bush on the broadcast were talking about, you know, how Hathaway's not putting up any points, but he's getting those hits in there. And it's like, I know that he's doing the best he can, but like, Grundström's actually noticeable, and the fourth lines looked very different with him on it. So love what he's doing out there, and I hope to just keep seeing him do this thing for a while, at least until Forrester's back.
Yeah, like the hits are like, you do need a physical presence in your fourth line. Like, you're not going to have stars. It's going to be tough to put up numbers, but like, the reason people are impressed with, what Kiefer Sherwood did last year when he had like 400 hits or whatever, 462 hits, he had 40 points. He started the year hot, like 13 goals. Like, okay, he's getting all these hits and also putting points on the board. I don't think anyone expects 40 points out of out of Hathaway, but like it can't be 0 through 30 games.
Well, I take the 21 he gave us last season.
No, 21 would be tremendous. Yeah. He's on pace for 0 right now.
Last season, Guard Angry gives us 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points. That's good. Yeah. And that's like all you want out of your fourth liner there. And it's nothing.
Especially considering what this team is right now. They play basically nothing but 1-goal games. They go to overtime, like, I don't know, a third of the time. This was overtime game number 12?
I might as well just schedule overtime when I get here. Like, I just can't anticipate getting home before 11:30.
When you're going to be in a 1-goal fight basically every night, you got to get something from the fourth line. Grundström has given them something since this latest recall, and he's been a game changer. He was a game changer tonight. He has been a game changer since he came up, and that's why he's the Elkin Chevrolet game changer. Together, let's drive. I also wanted to mention Sanheim. That was I think he was in the running for game changer simply because of his recovery against Seth Jarvis in the overtime.
When you first see
or was that Jordan Stahl? I think it was Stahl.
I thought it was Jarvis.
It might have been. Yeah.
Can't tell anymore. But on that play, it looked like when we initially saw it before we saw the replay that he went in and he just missed the shot. But when you saw the slow motion replay, Sanheim actually makes a great veteran defenseman move to just knock his stick away from the puck as soon as he gets to the crease. Like, it's really one of those things that you don't appreciate until you see that ultra slow-mo replay. Fantastic play by Sanheim. And just another 25-48 time on ice. He's just a complete truck. I know we were worried when they traded Provorov that Sanheim would be able to fill that gap with time on ice. He has absolutely done it.
Sanheim gets an assist. He got the puck up to Zegras on the Brink goal. He gets a point there. He is -2 on the night. Maybe not the best game for he and Sealer. They did struggle with that forecheck, but he's given you some pretty consistent play this season. I know we all would love somebody bigger and better than Sanheim. Like, that is ultimately the goal. Like, yeah, man, I like a lot of what they have in making up a top 4, whether it's Drysdale, York, Sanheim. These are all guys who might be able to play on a first pair, but they're not number ones.
Yeah.
And he's in that role now. He's the 26-minute-a-night guy is Sanheim. He's giving you some pretty consistent play on a nightly basis. On a night he struggles, it's hard for me to, like, really kill him because it's not as if he had a ton of help after the first 25 minutes of the game tonight.
That's the thing about Travis Sanheim is while he's capable of playing on a first pair, he isn't a number one who can elevate another guy like Sealer. That's why I'm really excited to get Cam York back. And hopefully he does come back for tomorrow's game. That's a big difference maker in a game like this, having all of your pairings together and then not having to play both. And I thought Murchison, again, for the most part was good, besides one rookie mistake. But not having to play a third pair of Murchison and Juleson is a big difference maker for a team like this with talent as thin as they have on defense at times.
No, and like to get to Murchison, while he does make the big mistake, I think it's the early Michkov penalty when they're on the PK. He makes a really nice sliding play to break up what could have been a scoring chance. Did it again late in the period where there was a man wide open in the middle and he's able to break it up with a well-timed slide. It wasn't just a lay down and let you sauce the puck over me.
An Andrew McDonald special.
Yes, it was I'm going to go into my slide as it looks like you're going to release it so that I can stop it. And it was effective. He made, the big mistake. But again, in the second period, there wasn't a guy who didn't have 2 turnovers, I would guess.
I like him more than Zamula at this point.
Yes.
I know we're talking about a limited sample size, but given all the boneheaded stuff we saw Igor Zamula make, I would much rather have a guy like Murchison who, I really like what he's shown us so far.
He has, I think, taken advantage of his little tryout here, I guess, while the Flyers are short. Really 2 defensemen. And as Charlie reported, sounds like York could be back pretty soon, and Risto's not too far behind him. Tocchet said today he would be going on the trip. So I'm looking forward to this defense getting back to full strength, which it really hasn't been all season because, like I said at the top of the show, This is a top 5 team in terms of shot suppression and a top 10 team in goals allowed. That's with, Vladar's been very good for the most part. Ersson, better than his numbers, but the numbers are absolutely freaking horrible. And this team still really doesn't surrender a lot once they get those two guys back. They could have a solid defense. Again, missing that star, but a pretty good makeup of 6 guys once it has Cam York and Rasmus Ristolainen.
I'll take that 1-6. I think that's actually a really good 1-6, and I'll take that all day. I'm excited to see what it looks like. Now, I think the big question mark is, what does Ristolainen look like coming off this latest
That could take some time.
He hasn't played hockey in a long time. I mean, the last game was March?
I think it was like March 11th or something.
Feels
something
longer.
like that.
It feels like I haven't seen him in a year. But yeah, it hasn't been since March. So he hasn't played hockey for a good long while. But at the same time, you can't teach size, baby. And he's got it in spades.
You cannot teach size. All right, coming up on the other side, we are going to get to all your super chats. We're going to have some fun. Maybe talk a little about the Quinn Hughes trade. We'll see. But we have to take one more break. Fam, do we really want Matvei Michkov playing goalie? No, it's not worth the risk, time, or money, and it doesn't make any sense. You keep your stars focused on doing what they do best, and the same goes for your business. And Togo can help any business looking to streamline operations, become more efficient, or unlock more time for their best people. From customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, admin, and data entry, and even complex multi-step operational processes, Togo takes it off your plate at a fraction of the cost. Every engagement with Togo starts with free process mapping and engineering. Togo doesn't bill a dime until the real work begins, with programming starting as low as $1,000 a month. You're not going to break the bank. And each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based process engineering who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, you call the plays, we execute. Visit harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning. Everybody knows how easy it can be to blow through your money this time of year. You're buying gifts, you're hosting parties, and suddenly you have overspent. That's why you got to be using Monarch. If you want to keep your finances under control this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch, rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or on your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. Monarch helps you stay informed so nothing slips through the cracks. Monarch isn't just another finance app. It's a tool that real professionals and experts actually love. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. All right, that is I forgot I wanted to talk about Bobby Brink. So we're going to get to that before your super chats. But looking at Bobby Brink's game, he ends up with 13:55 time on ice. He scores that goal in the first period. Where are we with like Bobby Brink? Because I am starting to form, like, he's one of the guys that I'm just waiting on. I'm waiting to assess him. I like a lot of his game, but I am starting to form the opinion, yeah, he's just not a top 6. He's a good third liner. I like him a lot on a third line, but to start the season, it looked like he was really making the statement, I'm not going to be the winger you get rid of, because there's a lot of wingers still that aren't even here yet. There's going to have to be some openings created on the wing for Alex Bump to get a spot in the top 9, for Denver Borky to get a spot in the top 9, Porter Martone, when that happens, you're going to have to ship some guys out. He's been good, but I think maybe he's starting to reach that ceiling. Scored his 8th goal tonight, but he kind of is just falling into, yeah, he's a good third liner, but I don't know if he's more now.
I am in so much agreement with you over this. And he's one of those guys I keep wanting to just step up. And I was really excited when it looked like he was having that year early on, where it looked like he was stepping up and becoming a true top 6 forward. And it's that inconsistency. And when you're a guy his size, he's not like super tiny, but he's not big. He's a little small for, a wing
Yeah.
in the NHL. And when you are that kind of size, like you have to put up better offensive production more consistently. And at this point in the season, I was really hoping that with Tyson Forster out, Bobby Brink will be putting up better numbers more consistently. And he just hasn't been doing it. I mean, this was the first time he scored a goal since the Buffalo game. So him and Michkov both have had, a slump in that period.
Yeah.
But Michkov last year, we know at least what his young ceiling can be. Whereas Brink, I mean, I'm looking at his career numbers right now. The best he's given us has been 41 points in 2024-25. So that's fine. And that's a good player to have, a guy who could play in the third line, play on the power play. But ultimately, that's not a guy like anywhere near what like we're expecting from like a Porter Martone. And then you have the unknowns like your Alex Bumps and your Denver Barkeys, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and that's basically, you see last year, all right, he's a 41-point guy. That's great. Let's see if we can build on it, at least through 30 games now, 14 points. That's basically a 40-point pace. This might be who he is, and you need 40-point third liners. Like, they're important. And, Charlie said it was funny, the assessment, like, well, maybe Tocchet was like, well, he's a little undersized. It's going to be a board battle kind of game. Maybe that's why he didn't get the ice time you would think a dude who made a real nice play to score a goal early in the game would get. That's kind of like the board battles and things like that. Like, that's what's impressed us most. And we're just waiting for like another offensive jump. That's kind of an odd assessment for me, but it's not as if he's like, since the first few weeks of the season, really banged down the door and been like, you have to give me this sort of ice time. So I'm not going to be overly critical of the decision. I thought maybe he could get a little more tonight, but it is starting to come around like, all right, I think I know what he is now.
Yeah, and because he did score, that's the only reason I'm a little annoyed that he didn't get more ice time in it, because he already showed you he could do it in this game, and he came out, 10 minutes in, scoring a goal is really impressive, sets the pace really well. I want to see more of him in those kind of scenarios, but as you said, it's also hard to argue with a lot of what Toc said there.
Yeah, all right. Before we get to Super Chats, we need some likes. 56 likes, not nearly enough. I know you didn't like the outcome of the game, but you're here watching the show. It's crazy if you've stuck around this long and then you're like, I don't like this, but then you continue watching. That's weird. Hit the like button and be less weird.
Brave the elements, folks.
Yes.
We brave the elements to come in here and give you quality post-game hockey. Hit that like button.
Hit that like button for us. All right, Ethan, let's hit them Super Chats. I think we have a decent number of them tonight, so let's get it started with Obi-Wan.
They're all Mitsubishi.
He says, Murchison, better than Juleson, better than Zamula. I've liked what I've seen out of Juleson. He had that one nice play, the break up into the hit on the boards. Juleson has been better than expected. We've said that a few shows in a row now where, coming out of the preseason and hearing what Vancouver fans had to say about him, it was like, oh, I am not gonna like this guy.
Oh,
he has been pleasantly decent,
Yeah.
really for the most part. As a third pair defenseman, I think you can live with him, but I am liking the upside of Murchison. The one big mistake tonight, but he was not alone in the, made an ill-advised pass that got intercepted. Yeah, like that was the entire second period for the entire team. So, but yeah, I've liked, this is a serviceable third pair, especially considering York and Risto are both out.
And consider the defensive depth on this team in the AHL. There's not really a lot to draw upon. The fact that Murchison was called up at all is wild to me. So, I like what I've seen. I've been very pleasantly surprised.
All right, David Shub is next. David says, first period better than the rest of the game.
You are correct, sir.
It was. And I really think the turning point of the game was not getting that third goal on those like flurry of 3 or 4 chances in the first 5 minutes where TK was there, Zegras was there, Cates. They had a chance to really open up a 3-goal lead early in that period that I think could have dramatically changed the trajectory of this game. But you got to tip your hat to Kochetkov and and Carolina as well. They're really good. And Kochetkov, I know I went through his numbers early or in pregame, and it was like, wow. Yeah, 915 is good. He's only made like 6 starts or something, and like 3 of them he hasn't been great, but he played well tonight, especially after the first period.
Let's also talk about that stick action in the shootout.
The poke checks in the shootout, waiting out Zegras. So he, after, he does like beat him, but he runs out of room and has to put that backhand off the side of the net. Like, he absolutely gave his team a chance in that shootout.
I would actually say the stick check he put on Matvei Michkov in the shootout won them the game, because Michkov gets that goal if he doesn't get that with the stick, because it was wide open.
He has beaten goalies to that post many times. And Kochetkov did not allow it. All right, this one here is from it's Juno Tube. I dubbed the Carl Grundström. I like Funstrom, but I think I like Grundaddy better.
Grundaddy.
I just think that's hilarious.
It is really funny.
I put it in the group chat. My friends were like, "Please say that on the air." So you're welcome.
I have a great marketing idea for you too, but I don't think we can say it here.
Yeah, when it comes up, we will absolutely say it. All right, from Chili Koth 20. All right.
Chili con carne.
Yes. Scoring first was our big mistake. It is crazy. Like, when they leave the first period with a lead, the numbers are, it's like the opposite of Ersson. Like, the numbers are good, but actually the process isn't. Like, when they lead after the first, they're 6-1-1 now, but they've given up the lead 5 of those 8 games.
It makes no sense. This team makes no sense.
When they get scored on first, it's like, yeah, we're going to win probably.
Like,
they're weird. They will never be normal.
No.
They can win the Stanley Cup and it's going to be weird.
Why can't you be normal?
They're going to do it in the most backwards ass way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the first Eagles Super Bowl.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Your backup beat Tom Brady. Of course he did.
Oh, and he caught a touchdown. Okay,
okay. That's going to be what happens. All right, next one here. It's another one from Juno. At this point, ideal decor. However, the pairs work out without a trade. Sanheim, Drysdale, York, Risto, Andre, Murchison, Sealer. Jewel is the 7.
Bonk.
Yeah, bonk at some point. All right. So I guess you put York and Sanheim back together.
Yeah.
You go Andre, Risto, and then
Sealer, Drysdale.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I'm
pretty
okay
decent.
With that, yeah. I'm good with that.
That bottom 4, really, like, you can mix and match based on what's working, but I think that's just what makes the most sense, like, from a player type standpoint.
I just don't know if I like Sealer Risto together, because that is like,
yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. But I do really like Andre and Drysdale.
Are you ready for Risto bombs on the power play?
Oh man,
because that's going to happen. Maybe not as soon as Risto comes back, but he is going to be on that power.
You know what's going to happen, because we've been talking about how, like, oh man, Rick Tocchet, one area he's way better than John Tortorella, is that he's actually trying guys back at the point that should be back there instead of Risto. Oh, he just hasn't had the opportunity to have Risto in there. That's all.
To be fair, it's not like anyone outside of a little stretch of Cam York has really nailed that job down, and York is now out injured.
I think it's Jolson time based on our conversations.
You know what?
Right?
Let's see it, man. He's
90 cannon.
92 miles an hour. Let's see it again.
He's slow as heck, but he's got a cannon.
Just win him the face-off back. He doesn't have to join the rush. All right. Next one here from David Shub. Bill, Michkov is now 21. He looked lost tonight. Yeah, he wasn't good. No, I said I'm waiting till
is 21 old?
I said I will start assessing him more harshly for the season he's having after his 21st birthday.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
That said, like, there are
hammer him, Bill.
It is not as if you're not a star at 21, you can't be a star. Like, it's very, very much in the realm of possibility. He's just having a rough start to the season.
I feel like we're seeing
sophomore slump.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like we're seeing the definition of sophomore slump. So there's no need to hammer him this year, if I'm being honest. Like, it sucks.
It's disappointing.
It sucks.
I don't want to let him off the hook, especially knowing, like, he is acknowledged he didn't have the summer he needed to have in order to have a breakout second year.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's acknowledged it, he's basically already said, yeah, I'm probably sticking around next summer and working here, that tells me he at least understands the issue and isn't, of the belief of, like, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
We got to figure it out, though. We got to figure it out.
But he does need to play better. Like, if this team is going to push for the playoffs, I don't know how long we can say, well, you know what? The record's pretty damn good, and they're not getting anything out of the guy who was, like, their best player last year. Eventually, he is going to have to be some semblance of what he was last season.
Biggest thing I want to see short term, I want him to clean up the penalties. The penalties he's taking.
Yeah, another one tonight. Stick penalties. My thing with stick penalties is always, get your money's worth.
Right.
You're going to trip a guy, hack him.
You want to make it. You want to make it
what
2
do we-
minutes well worth it.
Yeah, 2 minutes well worth it. Exactly. They drive me absolutely insane, and he has taken way too many stick penalties this season. If you're not going to score at the rate we think you're capable of, at least don't hurt yourself. And that's very much what he has done to this point. Are we? Do we need overtime? Or are we like a minute away, Ethan? All right. Next one here is from Bernie Sells. Just $4.99 from Bernie. There might be a comment somewhere that he forgot to add, but not in the super chats.
Bernie Sells
David
super chats.
Shub, can we stop betting on Tips upside and trade him? I think that it's very much a possibility he gets traded at some point. Vancouver, we know, asked about him recently, and they are trying to calm those waters. They, put out to Elliot Friedman like, hey, this wasn't us. They called, we talked, and they asked about Tippett. It's not like we're trying to trade him, but they're going to need to trade a winger, and he's got value because right now he's on pace for a career high in points. That's the funniest part. Like 26 goals and like a few more points than he's ever had. So
You don't just trade him for the sake of trading him, though.
all right. Now we need overtime. Head to allphly.com to continue watching tonight's show.
But yeah, you don't just trade him for the sake of trading him. Like you don't
he's
trade
gotta
him
be-
to shake things up. You got to get some value for
He's
him.
got to be part of a package that brings in something that we badly need. A center, a top 4 defenseman, something of that nature. It's not just get rid of Tippett. He's
another
too good to
Hughes?
just get rid of. Yeah, yes, is there a 4th Hughes brother that we can trade?
Brother? Yeah.
I think there is another Hughes.
Yeah,
I
that's fine.
don't know. Maybe a Hudson brother. All right, next one here is Adam S. Adam says, Carolina isn't that good. Their team and GM are seriously overrated. They don't even have Natchez anymore. They're a very beatable team, and I'm tired of always losing to them. And they have, they're a really good team.
They're not very good.
They win a lot of games every single year.
They're the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference.
I just,
Like, they're one of those teams that drive me nuts because I look at them and I go, I don't understand who they have. Like, I don't understand, like, why that team is so good, but that team is really good. And also, you can't be disrespecting BSH alum Dr. T like that.
Yeah,
Come on.
Dr. T, come on. Like, they are star hunting. It has been difficult for them to land one. They got Mikko Rantanen. He didn't want to sign there.
And I don't know if that's a GM problem so much as maybe an owner issue.
Their owner badly wants a star. It's just like,
but he doesn't want to pay it.
I feel like it's just not a premier organization. Like, you go there and you're like, oh, what a beautiful practice facility.
Oh,
Like,
wow, look
I
at
think
this.
he's willing to pay a guy. I don't know if he's willing to sink the money into the organization that create all the other things that players are like, oh, I choose them.
But all that said, it is ridiculous they haven't won at home against this team in 5 years. They should have won this game.
Yeah, Buffalo beats teams considerably better than them all the time. I'm not even going to say Carolina is so much better than the Flyers like they've been. They're really good, but the Flyers have played well this season.
This one's just extra frustrating because this is the second game this week against a better team that they should have won.
They could have and didn't, and that's disappointing. All right, next one is another one from Chile. Do we give Tot credit for the team improving, or do we think they'd be even better if they'd gone off the board? I think it's too early to tell. I do think there has been a learning curve that, especially in the offensive zone, has taken a while. We're starting to see them be more creative and create more chances. It's not just like, 18 shots and they lost 2-1 again. Like, there was a lot of that earlier, and I do think it's starting to come around. But like, going back to Thursday's game, some in-game decisions were a little interesting to me that kind of were like, all right, the system's working, but I'm not sure about some of his decisions. I think it's too early to tell with Talk.
Yeah, I like some of the stuff he's done so far. I mentioned in pregame, I have some qualms with how he's handled michkov to this point.
Sure, of course.
But overall, it seems like he's doing something right.
All right, next one here, another one from David. At least the Flyers aren't the Eagles right now. A big part of the reason I'm attempting to remain as optimistic as possible with the Flyers is I don't have it in me to be pissed at 2 teams at the same time. I put on a Phillies hoodie for the first time since they got eliminated, a piece of Phillies merch. Put on a piece of Phillies merch for the first time in like 2 months the other day. So I think I'm easing out of my pissed at, and it just one at a time I can be pissed at.
Let's just beat the Raiders and be happy again.
Yeah,
That's
go
all.
Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
All right, next one is John Paul Swarte. If it's a Vancouver fire sale, does Luchenko, Bonk, and a first get it done for Pettersson?
It's not happening, folks. It's not happening. I am so emphatic about this. I smack my mic around.
I
can't, just because of his relationship with Tocchet. It's not going to happen.
I cannot imagine Tocchet being like, yes, let's spend $11.5 million on this guy. One of the reasons I think he left Vancouver is, I don't think you can win with this guy as like an $11 million player.
And also, why would he want to come here where he's going to have to deal with talk again? And just like, it doesn't make sense for the organization. Believe me, that's a player that, talent-wise, I really want.
Listen, I still believe in the talent, even with the scoring. Like, he's been a guy on Selke ballots before. Like, he is a good, talented player.
Look at Trevor Zegras.
And if he's available, I'd like him.
Yeah.
But...
like, you look at Trevor Zegras and what he's done this year, bouncing back from 2 bad numbers years. You can have a change of pace and have it work, or a change of scenery and have it work out. But
if that trade were to get it done, like say it's Luchenko, Bonk, and like the Toronto first, I'm doing that.
No, I'm doing
even with like, he's been kind of disappointing. I'll still take like an 80-point. He's not a 100-point guy right now, but if he's an 80-point guy, that's fine. The way contracts are going. I'll take any center, quite honestly.
Anybody who has the possibility of being a top line center, sign me up.
Yeah. All right. Next one is this the last one? Yeah. From JH. Oh no, we suck again.
Oh no, we suck again.
Yeah, it is like, come on, boys. But hopefully they get it together as soon as tomorrow, Steve.
There we go. Tomorrow's another day.
Tomorrow is yet another day. Tomorrow is yet another day, and we will be here live on the YouTube page for pre and post game as they take on Carolina once again. This time in Carolina, where the Flyers have had a bit more success against them. So maybe this, maybe they're just going to flip the home and home and win there after losing at home. And 3 out of 4 against best team in the East. Not too bad. But that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, yes, follow us here on YouTube. Do all the following. Make sure you check out Kelly's GoFundMe.
Yes.
We've been talking about this for the last few shows, but Kelly Hinkle's niece was recently diagnosed with leukemia. The bills are going to be well over $30,000. You know how it works. It's insane. I wish this isn't the way it was. I know this time of year, there's always some sort of cause, some sort of thing to spend money on. But if you can help out in any way possible, if it's $1, help out Hinkle and her family.
We love Kelly.
We love Kelly.
Want to support Kelly and her family. And I mean, it's leukemia. Come on.
It's the worst thing imaginable. So if you have it, try to help out. That's it. All right. Thank you all. I am Bill Matz. That is Steve Jaco. Thank you to Ethan for producing tonight. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.